My name is Michael, and I never imagined that a single afternoon could unravel so many years of silence, secrets, and unresolved tension. For nearly 5 years, I hadn't seen my wife. Emma. Circumstances had torn us apart, a messy divorce, misunderstandings, and the distance of time, but today, I had a reason to reach out. Something had come up, something I couldn't ignore, and I needed to see her. I parked my car outside the building where Emma worked. The office had changed since I last visited. Sleek glass panels, buzzing elevators, and a lobby full of people who clearly had no idea who I was. My heart raced. Part of me wanted to turn around and leave, to forget the whole thing, but another part, the part that had loved her for nearly 20 years, pushed me forward. I walked into the building, showing my ID at the reception desk. "I have an appointment with Emma Clark," I said, trying to sound casual, though my voice betrayed the tension I felt. The receptionist raised an eyebrow but picked up the phone. After a brief pause, she smiled politely. "Mr. Michael, her assistant will meet you on the 12th floor." I nodded, taking the elevator up. With every floor, memories of the life Emma and I had shared flickered in my mind. Our first apartment, the late-night arguments, the quiet mornings over coffee, the laughter, the fights, the apologies. All of it had felt irretrievably lost after the divorce. Yet here I was, moments away from facing her again, when the elevator doors opened. I stepped into a hallway lined with offices. A woman in a crisp black suit immediately approached me. She had short, straight hair, piercing eyes, and a demeanor that radiated authority. "Stop!" she shouted, her voice cutting through the hum of the office. I froze. My first thought was shock, then confusion. "Excuse me?" I asked cautiously. "You can't come in here," she said, placing her hand firmly on the doorframe to block my path. "You have no appointment? You have no clearance. You're not welcome here." I blinked, trying to process the words. "I was told I could see Emma," I said, keeping my voice steady. "I need to speak with her." The woman's eyes narrowed. "She doesn't want to see you." I took a deep breath, feeling a mix of anger, frustration, and disbelief. "This is absurd. We have a matter that needs her attention. It's important." She held my gaze, unyielding. "Michael, Emma doesn't want to deal with the past anymore. You need to leave or security will be called." I felt my heart pound. For years I had wondered what she thought of me, what she felt after our separation, and now to be met with such hostility I was unprepared. But I knew I couldn't leave, not yet. I had come too far to be turned away at the threshold. "Please," I said, my voice softening, "I'm not here to cause trouble. I need to talk to her." The assistant's eyes flickered as if she were weighing something. Then, almost reluctantly, she stepped aside. 5 minutes. That's it. If she says no, you leave? I nodded, silently grateful. She led me down the hallway to Emma's office. I could hear her typing as we approached, her focus so intense that she hadn't noticed my arrival yet. The assistant knocked lightly and called her name. Emma's head snapped up, and for a moment the world seemed to freeze. Our eyes met. There she was, Emma, older, more refined, with the same intensity that had captivated me years ago. But her expression was guarded, cautious, and distant. "Michael," she said, her voice steady but cold. "It's been a long time." "Emma," I replied, stepping inside slowly. "I know it has, and I know I shouldn't just show up like this. But I had to see you." She leaned back in her chair, folding her arms. "Why now?" I swallowed hard, choosing my words carefully. "Because I realized that the years we lost, the distance we created. I can't change the past, but I need to address what's in front of us. There's something important we need to discuss." Emma's assistant hovered near the door, clearly tense. I could see the protective instinct in her stance, someone who had taken it upon herself to shield Emma from the world. I understood that. I would have done the same for her. But I also knew I had a right to be here, to speak my truth. Emma's eyes softened slightly, though her voice remained cautious. "Fine, 5 minutes. That's all." I nodded. "Thank you." I explained why I was here. There had been a legal matter regarding a property we once owned together, a small family cabin in the mountains. In the past few months, I had discovered discrepancies in the management of the property, and I needed her input to resolve them. As I spoke, I watched her closely. There was skepticism in her eyes, doubt, but also curiosity. She asked questions, probing gently, her tone professional yet tinged with emotion. I answered honestly, carefully, explaining every detail without accusation. Without anger. Then came the moment I hadn't expected. I mentioned a memory from years ago, an anniversary trip we had taken to the coast. She paused, her expression shifting as recognition and nostalgia flickered across her face. "I remember that," she said softly. "I can't believe you remember that." I smiled faintly. "I remember everything. The good and the bad. That's why I'm here. Not to relive the past, but to make sure we don't repeat it." Emma leaned back, her gaze distant. "Michael, you don't know how hard it's been. I built a life after we separated. I thought I could leave the past behind." "I know," I said, my voice gentle. "And I never wanted to disrupt that. But this isn't about disrupting your life, it's about solving a problem that affects both of us." The assistant shifted uneasily, clearly waiting for me to finish. I could feel the tension in the room, the years of unspoken words, the walls that had grown between us. Then Emma surprised me. "You've changed," she said quietly. "Not just in how you look, but in how you approach things. You're calm, patient, different from the man I left all those years ago." I nodded, grateful for the acknowledgement. "I've had time to reflect. Time to understand myself and us. I know I can't undo the past, but I can try to make things right now." For a moment there was silence. The assistant watched us like a hawk, but I could see that Emma was processing, weighing, considering. Finally she spoke. "Let's start with the property," she said. "We'll go through everything together. And, Michael, thank you for coming here in person." Relief washed over me. It wasn't reconciliation, not yet, but it was a beginning. We spent the next hour reviewing documents, discussing the next steps, and carefully planning how to resolve the situation. I could feel the old connection flicker, fragile but present. By the time I left, the assistant's posture had softened. She no longer seemed like a barrier, but a witness to a tentative restoration. Emma walked me to the door, and for the first time in years, we shared a quiet, understanding look. No words were necessary, just recognition, respect, and the possibility of rebuilding trust. As I walked back to my car, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. That single encounter had reminded me that even after years of separation, even after walls had been built, honest communication could still open doors. Sometimes the right moment comes unexpectedly, and all you can do is be ready to step through it. I drove home thinking about what had happened, reflecting on the years lost and the chance to start anew. The assistant had shouted, "Stop!" when I entered, but in truth, it had been a moment that forced all of us, myself, Emma, and even her protective assistant, to confront reality. And in doing so, it had set the stage for healing, understanding, and a future that was finally within reach.